Hello and welcome to today's talk. I had a brief drop in internet connection there, so I hope that it's going to stay okay while we talk today. So I'll get on with it without further ado, just in case. I'm going to be talking today about releasing what no longer serves you. And I haven't checked back, but I feel that I've spoken about this fairly recently. But as always, when something pops into my head as a topic that I should be talking about, then I go with it because I think clearly I'm meant to talk about it. There's a reason for it. So releasing what no longer serves us is very important because otherwise it holds us back. When we release all of that stuff, it allows room for new things to come in. It's an energetic clearing, if you like. Now, those of you who come along to my chakra dancing classes regularly will know that each session we do some release work, but there's always more to be done. I teach chakra dancing classes all the time, and in every one I'm taking part in the releasing work. It doesn't mean that I'm done and after one session and I don't need to release any more. It's always good to keep releasing, keep allowing that new energy or the space for the new energy and the new things to rush in to fill that space. So just before I go into showing you a couple of methods in which you can release all of that stuff, I just wanted to tell you a little story from my own life about the power of releasing. And some of you may have heard it before, but I think it bears repetition. And some of you won't have heard it at all before. So back in the days when I was a solicitor, which I actually left 5 years ago, over 5 years ago now, I got to the point where I wasn't happy with that life anymore. And I happened to go to a Kundalini yoga class, the one and only one that I've ever been to actually. It was a taster class at a Mind Body Spirit event, and it just appealed to me. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. And right at the start of the class, the teacher had us do an exercise which was about releasing stuff that no longer served us. And she asked us to bring to mind something that, wasn't going well in our life and something that we wanted to get rid of. Can't remember what her exact words were, but I vividly remember the exercise, which was all about punching out what it was that we wanted to release. And we actually went on with it for quite a long time. It felt like about 5 minutes, and we were running on the spot at the time, so getting breathless, but really, really punching out what it was that we wanted to get rid of. And in my case, it was frustration with the job that I was then in and what that life had become for me in that job. And as I say, I really went for it, punching out with all my might what it was that I wanted to release. And I felt better because I had released that emotion from my body. But what then happened was that about a week after that, I took the decision to hand my notice in my job. And it was only looking back that I realised that had come about because of the releasing work that I'd done, because it had been something that had been in my head for ages. I'd spend, probably a year or two going round and round in my head thinking about the fact that I wanted to get out of that job and what I might do instead. But I'd never actually taken any action on it because I felt stuck. But after doing that releasing exercise, and I didn't connect the two, but all of a sudden, about a week later, I had this complete conviction that I had to leave that job, and I handed in my notice without even having a plan for what I was going to do next, because that was the courage that I'd got, the conviction that I'd got that I needed to do it. And I'm telling you that because I just want to show you just how powerful that releasing work was for me. And looking back, I know that is what led to that chain of events starting with handing in my notice. So, a couple of ways in which you can release what no longer serves you. And before I get into them, just to say that it can be anything that no longer serves you. Just think about what it may be that you want to get rid of. Now, I've already written a little list for myself, and I can tell you that some of them are situations, some of them are emotions, just circumstances. So it can be anything. As I said, that exercise that I did in the Kundalini yoga class was about releasing my job situation and my frustration associated with it. So for you, it could be your worries about something. It could be, it could be that you don't like where you live anymore and you want to get rid of that so that you make room for the new place to come into your life. It could be a situation that you want to get out of. It could be a relationship that you're not happy with anymore, whether that's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a business relationship, anything that you want to get rid of, you can release. And I'm just going to show you two methods today because we don't have time for a lot more. One is very similar to the punching that I just showed you, but I call it shaking it off. And I'm going to just stand up so that you can see. You won't be able to see the whole of me, but this is what we do in our chakra dancing classes before we dance the solar plexus chakra. We get rid of stuff by bringing it all to mind initially and then just consciously shaking it off from our bodies. So we start with shaking our hands, and then we can involve our shoulders, and then you can get the whole of your body involved. You can take longer over this, but I'm just doing it quickly for you. And you are literally, in your head, you are shaking off whatever it is. And you might want to punch it, and you might want to kick it, which I'm doing, but you can't see. But you do that for a couple of minutes, at least, as long as it takes. But until you've got all of those things out of your body, and you have consciously released them from your life. And it really is quite cathartic. So that's the one method. The other method is actually burning a list. So this is why I have my lists here. So what you can do is you can tear each individual thing off and pop it in a fireproof bowl. I have my little cauldron here. It doesn't matter if you've got a fireplace at home, you could do it in a fireplace. But for speed, I'm just going to scrunch it up, put it in my cauldron and the rest of my list. I'm going to scrunch it up, put it in my cauldron, and then I'm simply going to set fire to it. But it's not just about the setting fire, it's about watching the smoke rise from the burning paper and knowing that you are releasing all of that stuff into the ether. You are letting it go, which is really important as a ritual, so that then you make the space for the new to come into your life. Now, I have to say, I am literally sitting underneath a smoke alarm, so as soon as I set fire to this, I can't just let it burn and do the process of watching the smoke, because I'm going to have to put a lid on it so that I don't set off the smoke alarm, in which case you won't hear what I'm saying. But you get the gist. So there's my cauldron with all my bits of paper in. If I tilt it so you can see, I am setting fire to that. And the ritual process is to watch the smoke. And if I had the time and I wasn't sitting under a smoke alarm, I would just watch that smoke and consciously release. But what I'm actually going to do is move it outside because, that's going to set something off shortly. I will be back very, very shortly. Let's just pop it out here. Right, I'm back. Now, normally what I would do, that's okay out there, is just to sit mindfully watching that smoke rising and know that everything is going into the ether, and I have let go of all of those things that I wanted to release from my life. I once talked about this with a client who came up actually with another way of doing it, which was quite interesting, and it worked for her, which was because she didn't really have somewhere that she felt able to burn her list. She wrote a long list, and then she got a shredder, and she just popped her list to go through the shredder, which is actually a really good way of doing it as well, because it's quite a slow process in some shredders for the piece of paper to disappear, and you can consciously release all of those things as you know that they are being chopped up into the shredder. I personally like the burning one just because I know that all of those things have then disappeared into nothingness. So I recommend that one. I recommend shaking it off, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it every week with my classes. But however you choose to do it, releasing is a really powerful exercise. And you can do the same things. You know, you don't just have to limit it and think, well, okay, I've done it now, it's gone. It may be that you feel you need to do it again because whatever it is, sorry, I could hear crackling, I was just checking, gone up along with everything around it. Yeah, you can do more because we are releasing layers all of the time, but just one ritual, one releasing ritual will really help because your subconscious then knows that you have let go, and you'll be surprised how quickly new things come into your life. Oh no, animals having a fight out there. So yes, that was what I wanted to say about releasing. If you want to know any more about it, by all means message me and I'm happy to talk about it. That applies to anything. The rest of what I wanted to say was going back to the chakra dancing, and I know I talk about it a lot, but it's because I just need people to be aware that when classes are happening, I need to know if people are coming or not, because if I haven't got enough people, then I can cancel the hall. Conversely, if I have got a lot of people coming, then I know that I need to put a stop on numbers. So this Thursday evening, 7 o'clock at Swimbridge Jubilee Hall, that is our monthly class in Swimbridge. And then next week, Thursday, back in Braunton at the Ask for Jake Hub. And one thing I don't often mention, but it is on my website, is that I also do one-to-one chakra dancing classes here in the studio. So if you would like a private session, just contact me and I can organise that with you. So thank you for watching as ever. I would love to know your experiences with releasing work and whether that has noticeably open things up for you, because I find the whole process absolutely fascinating. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to go and write my list again and do a proper releasing ritual where I actually watch the smoke outside without fear of the smoke alarm going off in here. So thank you as always for watching. I will be back here again next Tuesday, and in the meantime, have a great week. Bye for now.